Welcome to another Fix It Yourself video. So today we're going to be looking at installing a pullout, an IKEA kitchen pullout, and that's this right over here. We're going to have a pullout that pulls out. We have all the parts here according to the parts list. That includes the actual pullout door. This is Grimm's Loft, so I pull that out, and that will be going like that, okay, and it will pull right out. So I'll set this aside. Here's my box, my pull-out box. It's I've gone with the UTRUSTA. There's also one called Maximera. I'm going to go with this one for now and see how this works. If I don't like it, I may install the Maximera. But for now, I think I'll install this one. So look at all the parts that come in here. You'll have to go through this instruction booklet here. This is how I want it to go. I want it to slide out so as I have my stove here on the right, I'll pull things out and I'll be able to easily access oil and things like that I'll store in here. So we'll go through this page by page and we'll install and assemble this pullout. Okay, so let's get ready to assemble this pullout cabinet. And the pullout here, let's follow these instructions carefully. So essentially here what you see is, if you want to install a pullout, which is what I want to do like this, with the sliders on the left side, then you follow these instructions, which are the pages that follow. If your intention is to put this pull out so that the sliders are on the right side, then you would follow page 17. You would go to page 17 and they would tell you there all these same instructions, but only kind of in a reverse or mirrored. So let's follow this then step by step. So what they tell you to do is take the door and lay it flat like this with the two holes here on that side. So I'll take my door and I see my two holes on that side. So what I'm going to do then is turn this around so that I have it just the way they've shown it, and I'm going to lay this flat down on here. I should probably put that on a piece of cardboard so that I can protect it. So what I'll do is I'll just put it right into the box that it came with, and this way it's protected from any scratches or damage. So we'll lay that down there like that, the way they've shown. We'll go to the next page. And then the next thing they tell us to do here is to take this, which is a sort of a template, and you take that template and you place it so the IKEA logo is like that. We'll put this down onto our door face, and we'll get ready to punch those holes. So that's the next thing they tell us to do, is we got to punch 4 holes into the backing of that so that we can line up where we need to put some screws in. And the next thing we'll do is to assemble these. I've already assembled those 4 pieces with those 2 bars, and I've got them so that they're the right length. These are the ones that would fit here. You can see how they line up with those holes. Okay, so I've got those all prepared, and all we got to do now is punch those holes. So what I'll do is get a hammer and a nail, and I will attempt to get this nice and square here. Try not to move it as you're going. So we've punched our holes. So I guess we don't need this anymore. We can set that aside. So now that we've done that, the next thing they tell us to do is to assemble these pieces. So I've got the one that shows with the screws in it. So there's the 2 screws, one there, one there. And we'll put that and lay it down where it shows you to do that. So there you see they show you in the screws, and they tell you to take screws and screw it into the holes. So the one with the screws in it, this one goes down near the bottom, which would go down here. So I'll set those right there. And then this other one should go, you can see I've got it oriented correctly. And then this one here, they want you to put it in like that. That has no screw, by the way. So I'll set them like that, and then we'll prepare to screw those in. I'll get the hardware and then the screws, and we'll put them in. Okay, so I've got my hardware prepared, those 4 screws. Okay, so I've got that secured pretty good. I kind of like to just give it a manual just to make sure it's good. Make sure it's good and tight. Not too tight, we don't want to strip it. Okay, and then we'll put these guys in. Right, okay, so now we've done that. So let's have a look at the next step. So we've completed that. Go to the next step, which now talks about putting in the sliders. So the sliders will go in. These numbers tell you how, like, which hole. So basically we got to go 6th hole down from the top. We got to insert the sliders using those little screws for fasteners there. And then they've got like what looks like a little bumper on the end. So let's find all that stuff. We'll look at it and then we'll start to assemble all this, okay? So one thing we should do, and I did now, probably should have done this right at the beginning. I've laid out all of the parts that they tell you to, that come with inside the box. So all of these parts, I've laid them out pretty much in the same way. So I'll show you. Basically, we have this little tool, a couple of these little things, 6 of the short screws, and this is why I'm saying this is important, because the short screws are marked 100349 and the longer ones are 116816, and all the screws are all numbered. This way when you look at the numbers here and then you see those numbers in the various pages, they tell you. So right now we're at this step here. They tell us that we need to use 100349, so that would be 100349, the short screws. So in other words, there's 6 of each. So not to get confused, it's important that you lay these out and know which number is which, so that when you're looking at the photos here, you be sure that you get all the parts right. So for example here, this particular screw with a washer, the washer's labeled 100840, so that would be this one here, 100848, sorry. Yeah, 10. Yeah, they've got that kind of a mistake here, so I'm sure they make the odd mistakes, but it's got to be the right one. Anyway, so you can see we have all the parts here laid out, and the ones that we've already installed, we've done this step already, right? We've installed that, so that's those part numbers here. So those 4 screws have been installed, and those brackets have been installed, and we have those 4 over here, and one piece of that. So let's continue then, and we'll be sure to use the small screws that they show us here. This is the step we're on right now, step number 7. We've got this guy here, and you can see this is the orientation they're talking about, this little bumper here. So that's already on it, and the screws we need are the short ones, 100349. So we have those 4 screws, so we take 3 of them to do the top. So let's get to it, and we'll install these now inside this drawer at the location they marked number 6. Okay, so I'd like to take my screw gun and my Phillips-head screwdriver, and I'll start with the back one, and we'll go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's this row here. So if we're going the back one, and it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'd like to go in here and just start doing this with my hand. I've got the first one in. Get me a second screw here. Maybe I'll do the front one because it's easier to get to. And just make sure we go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's that one. I like to start with the back one because this way you can't make a mistake. There's only a line along the back and in the middle, but in the front you can see there's 2 rows, so you might make a mistake. But if you start with the back one, you can't go wrong because the whole lines up with the inner race here. And so now you've got this ready to go, so I'm going to just put that in. so we've got one done. We'll do the second one at the bottom as soon as we're done with this one. Okay, just double check those. Get them fairly tight, but not overdo it. You don't want to strip them. But that's it. So we've got the one in, and then we'll do the next one. Next one is showing us 2 from the bottom. So 1, 2 from the bottom. So again, the same thing. We find this, and I like to go start at the back, 2 from the bottom. I get the one at the front, 1, 2 from the bottom, and we'll get the middle one in. Okay, that's good. So we've got both the sliders on. We'll get on to the next step next. So the next step here is step number 8. We have to assemble the brackets that are going to be attached to the sliders that slide in and out, and then this attaches to the door face, okay, and the baskets. So what they're showing us here, if you look, is they're telling us that we need to do 6 times of these screws. So you have to find the screw, the washer, and on the back side it's only 1 screw, and on the front it's showing 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. And the reason for that, I guess, is if you look at this piece here, this hardware, you have 2 holes here, but you only have 1 hole at the back, and it's got like a little stopper at the end. I guess that's what stops it from pulling all the way out. So let's get fastening that now. So we'll just do it exactly what they show here. We're going to put these 2 down at the bottom here, and then we'll lay these out. So if we can just lay these in the right orientation, we should be able to fasten these correctly. Okay, so that 1 hole goes on that pin, and then the screw goes in, and then this side goes in 2 holes. So let's grab our screws and our washers, and we can do the ones at the back for now. Okay, so we'll start doing the ones at the back. Washer and screw, and lay it in. Side ready. I'm just going to kind of put them loose for now, and then we'll tighten them up after. So that's that one. Now we'll need 2 for the top and 2 for the bottom. Screw, washer. Okay, so there you go. There you have it. That should slide in, and we'll see what the next step is on the instruction sheet. So the next step is they tell you to slide it in there 2 times. Make sure you get both sides. So let's see if we can't manage to get that in there correctly. Let's find where they're supposed to slide in, and I'm just going to slide them in. It appears that we've got it nice. So there's our slider. So we've got that in nice now. Okay, so the next step is to look at fastening the brackets onto this extension here. Okay, so we'll take a look at this. It's telling us to fasten this bracket onto the extension. So now that we've got our slider extension installed, the bracket, the next step is going to be the step to install these brackets here. One on the top, one on the bottom. So the top one is with without our little return, and the bottom one has the return. That's this one here. So let's get that ready to go, and let's look at this carefully. So essentially what they're saying is we need to find screw number 107615, and that's on your parts page here. So that's this one, 4 107615s. So that's these ones over here, and it's telling you not the short one, because there is one short one, but the long ones. So we want to make sure we get those 4 screws, get them prepared, and then we'll assemble it just the way they're showing us here. We have to put that bracket in over that clip and then put the screws right through it, okay? So you can see it's got a little indent here, it goes in the top indent and so on. So just like they showed us in here, we're going to take this bracket and we're going to put this, line up the holes with these 2 holes but in the back. So we're going to go there, line it up, take one of my screws, one screw in for now, loose, get the second one in, and we'll do the same thing with the bottom bracket. The bottom bracket again, also 2 screws. So take our bottom bracket, there are our screws. Now we've got our 2 brackets, and those are going to be used for attaching the front door face, pull-out door. Tighten these up. You don't want to overdo it because you could strip, but you want to be tight enough that it's not going to come loose. There were no washers on this, so I get them good and tight. Okay, that's good. So that's very good. So here we have it, you see. And the next step. So let's look at the next step now. Okay, so we're going to install these 4 screws into the back side of these brackets, and we're going to put them in just as they show here. We're going to turn them clockwise. And what they're saying here is just leave a gap, but don't put them all the way in. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to put them in here like this, and we're going to leave a gap. So I'm going to get them just so that they don't come through. There's a big enough gap there, because what this is going to, the door face is going to mount to this. So put them in. As soon as they start coming out, I can feel it. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to put the same one here. The next thing is you take your door face here. This is your door face. Remember, we mounted these on. So these are going to slide over, and you can see this part here slides over the brackets. That's what these openings are here. This slips over the bracket. So it's going to be difficult for you to see it like this. I'm going to just change the camera angle for a minute. Like this, we can get this in a proper orientation so we can see it. Okay, so I've changed the camera angle here for your benefit so that we can see this. Here's the brackets I was just showing you. So we're going to get this to slip right over top. Watch how this goes right over top. And that's why they tell you to leave a gap down there. So we line up the bottom, line up the top, and they should slip right in. There you go. You see that? So now once we've got that, you're going to need this tool that they give you, and we're going to need to fasten those in. So I'm just going to put them in. Once I know it's down good, then I'm just going to hand tighten them carefully here. I don't want to go too tight for now. You can tighten them at the end. So this bottom one is on good. Don't have to go too much. There you go. It's just so it squeezes the plastic hard. There we go. So now we've got our door face on, the pull out. The next thing we'll need to do is follow the instructions, tell us how the next step here. And the next thing they're telling us to do is to hang the baskets, okay? So what they're saying is, find here the clip on the basket, and it's supposed to go into that upper one in the back, sorry. And then at the end we're just going to clip on this screw, okay? So we've got our two baskets here. I think they're identical. So we're going to try to orient these here. I think I'll have to change the camera angle again so that you can see this. See if we can't get a better view of it. Okay, so let's try to put these baskets in here one at a time. So we'll start with the lower basket. You kind of have to, I want mine as low as possible. I mean, you could adjust these so you could be higher or lower. So there you have it. It's down on there. And the next one we'll put on is, okay, what they're showing us here is there's an upper and lower, and then you clip them in and put these brackets on. Okay, so there's 1 times of this, which is down in here, and this is the other side it's showing us. So let's take a look at how we're going to do this. Essentially what they're showing us here is we've got to take this clip and we've got to mount it on that bracket there. Okay, so there you see, if you want to adjust it in, you can probably pull that, loosen that screw and pull this side in a little bit. So that side is done, and the next thing they tell you to do is to put in on the next page here. They give you these 4 clips here. It's these 4 clips, and these 2 long bars. They're going to go across the trays to keep them, I guess, from spreading apart. Or it's a divider of a sort. So let's get these guys on. We'll put these on both sides. One there. One there. One there. And one there. And the next thing we'll do is install these. I don't know, somewhere in the middle, I guess, is what they're showing. They just clip on there, and it's kind of a divider, I suppose. Keeps it from... And let's put this guy on now. And I think I'll put that on the upper one. So there you have it. One on here. Let's clip that on there. Clip that on there. And now we've got our pull-out almost complete there. Anyway, that's it. I think you can see here that we've got our pull-out assembled and installed. So just one more thing here they show us is on the last page. They show us that if you want to make adjustments to your pull-out, if you want to go left to right, you need to find those brackets here and loosen those fasteners that we made, loosen. And they tell you to for up and down, you gotta use that screw to push it up and down and then retighten, okay? And for left and right, you gotta loosen that screw and move it left and right. And so that's your adjustments here. It tells you clearly. And then if you want the door face to go in or out a little bit, that's where you gotta do that bottom hinge. That's the one that's over here. But anyway, you can play with that until you get your fine adjustments, and when you're happy, you can either go up or down to match your other doors. And that's more or less it. So we've finished assembly and installation of our, it's a UTRUSTA pull-out. Now we're going to install a handle on the pull-out. So we've got our handles like all the other ones. I want to put on the pull-out be like a drawer, so it should be centered on that and centered across here. So to do that, I'm going to use my same jig. What I've done here is I've already marked the center line here, so I have it's just shy of 1 foot, so it's like 11 7/8, or I like to use metric, so I've got 302 millimeters. Okay, so then that means I'm going to go 151 millimeters. That's my center right there. So I've marked my center already. I take my jig that I set up. I'm setting it up for the lower drawer because it's there, and I'm going to put this so that the center line between my holes lines up with this. Try to get it pretty close. Doesn't have to be precise, but that's pretty darn close. And then I'll need my quick clamps. So I'll get my quick grips, set them up. Take our drill, and again I like to use a level. I just kind of just tape a level on here so that I know I'm drilling level, pretty close to level anyways. And then I'll just put that on there and get ready and start drilling. I won't go all the way through just because I like to use a block. Like I said, I use a little blocking and I put that on so that I don't damage the backside. And then I'm just checking my level. So that's one hole. Check my level, check my back and forth this way. That's it. So I've got my holes drilled, and then we can take our quick clamps, put them aside, put our jig aside. We should have our handle in a moment here. So now we've got our handle on. There we go. Now we got a pull out with the handle installed. Thank you for watching.